Just a reminder, this will be recorded and uploaded to our website. So if you have any colleagues that want to watch this video, or if you want to come back to it at a later date, you are more than welcome to. It takes us about 2 days to get it up on the website. So thank you all so much for joining us. I invite you to engage as much as you can. If you want to be on camera, I always enjoy not having to talk to myself. And then we'll have opportunities for some group feedback, as well as chances to share out. So with that being said, I like to start these with a little bit of community building and ask a silly question. So I will open it all up to you if you want to share out of, if you could have one superpower for the next week, you don't get it forever, you just get it for the next week, what would you choose and why? Does anybody want to share what superpower they would pick? 1 week.
Hi, it's Jillian. I'll share one.
Thank you.
My superpower would maybe be like speed. So you could just go places really quick because I have 2 small children. So with all the school pickups and all of the hustle and bustle of that, it'd be nice to be able to have super fast speed.
Right? Think of all how quickly you could clean your house if you were super fast.
That would be beneficial too.
Yes. It looks like Nancy in the chat said healing. I have many folks I know right now that could use healing. I agree. I think the whole world could use a giant hug and a vaccination. So anybody else want to share their superpower of the week?
I'd like to not have to sleep for a week.
Ooh, I like that. Busy season for you, Marilyn?
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I'd like to have to not be able to just kind of power through just without being tired.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, just the ability to not have to sleep, that would be awesome. I think I would probably pick transportation, or not transportation, teleportation, so I could actually leave my home in a safe way. The pandemic has been a little bit rude. Well, thank you, everybody. We're going to dive right in. Like I said, this will be recorded, so you can come back at any time. And if at any time you have questions, throw it in the chat, or just take yourself off mute. Feel free. So this month, the month of February, we're focusing on small changes for long-term success, primarily around habits. And when we look at habits, we're not talking about just the bad ones that we have. We have good habits too, of like brushing our teeth before we go to bed, or turning our alarm on for the morning. Those are all good habits that we have. And sometimes we have habits that we don't love. I am notorious for sleeping in, which means that 8 a.m. meetings are a little bit difficult, and that's a habit that I would love to change. So as we are going through, how do we create this habit and stick to it? I invite you to find something in your life that's small and manageable that you would like to change. I don't want it to be something like, I want to lose 100 pounds. That's the habit I'm going to create. But a smaller habit that could get you there. So something like, I'm going to walk 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. We're going to think about those types of habits. Awesome. So what is a habit? We probably all know that. So it's a regular tendency or practice. Everything that we do is probably out of habit. We are creatures of habit. Our brains don't like new things. The American Journal of Psychology does say that a habit is more or less a fixed way of thinking, willing, or feeling acquired through previous repetition of a mental experience. Neurobiologically, we call that what wires together fires together. So you might notice that when you're driving home after a long day of work or driving to the grocery store or something that's really familiar, you kind of just go on autopilot. Your brain has done all of the neural connections to make that really easy. Now, let's say there's a traffic accident on your way home. You now have to drive around it. It's novel, it's new, it's a little bit more stressful because that is not a predetermined mode in your brain. So you have to work a little bit harder to get the same end result. It's all based in neuroscience. So when something doesn't work for you in just a week, it's blame your brain, blame your neurons. So we do engage in any of our habits, both good and bad, based on certain triggers. So again, we have the trigger of I'm sleepy, it's 10 o'clock at night. My routine is to brush my teeth, wash my face, take my medication, and read for 10 minutes. That's our habit. It's based off of that trigger that we're tired and it's 10 p.m. We also can have our negative habits of this week is really stressful. I have 2 young kids, both in school, and I need to run them around, and my husband's out of town this week, and all of those things. So I turn to food as my coping mechanism. That's the trigger. We overeat when we're stressed. Totally normal, totally neurotypical of our brains to do things like that. So what is a habit continued? Again, not all habits are bad and need changing. We have really good habits of, drinking water and limiting our caffeine intake, choosing healthy snacks, minimizing our unhealthy portions, exercising and moving our bodies, maybe practicing mindfulness, gratitude, something as simple as putting your laundry away as soon as it's dry. Is a positive habit. And then we do have some habits that we need to change. I'm a nail biter and I wake up late. Those are 2 habits that I need to change about myself. Not all habits are obviously health related either. So again, coming back to that neurobiological piece, if we think of our brain and our neurons as a set of streets and highways, if you and a lot of thoughts are a lot of cars are on the road, it's called a highway. A lot of capacity can go there. It's predetermined. It's really easy to get around like that. The more away from our natural or our normal we get, the smaller the roads become. So we have these highways and then we have these main roads. And at some point, new habits, new ways of thinking, new ways of doing are just, unpaved roads with probably some grass growing on them because they don't get a ton of use, and that's okay. So if we think of our brain in a very metaphorical sense, we want to create more of those highways of positive things that we want to do, and we want less of those dirt roads of the things that we don't want to do. It's the same reason why you probably don't remember like middle school geometry. You don't use it every day. That middle school geometry is that dirt path, whereas something like typing without looking, we do that all day, every day, is that highway. Any questions as of yet? Awesome. You all are easy. So how do we change a habit? So science actually tells us, you've probably heard, well, if you want a new habit, take 21 days and you'll be fixed. Not all habits are that easy. Again, we are trying to deconstruct highways and create new highways in our brain. So it's not that easy. That 21-day idea came from the 50s, where a doctor was observing that it took his patients 21 days to adapt to some sort of physical change of amputation or losing vision. It took them 21 days. It was an observation, it wasn't fact. So a whole bunch of other scientists went back and said, what is the science behind this? What is considered normal for creating habit change? Good news, it's anywhere from 18 days to 254 days. So half a month to 8 months to create some sort of change. Obviously, the bigger magnitude of difference that change is for you, the more time it's going to take. Good news, an average habit becomes automatic within 66 days. So if your goal is to lose 100 pounds, it's going to take you a while. It's going to take you at least a year to do that. But adapting some of those healthy habits in the meantime will probably only take you 2 months. When we are looking at creating a habit and creating that change, we really want to focus on something small that's manageable. Again, you're not going to run a marathon tomorrow if you're not a marathon runner. Something that's small, that's manageable, that you can feel successful, and you don't get easily discouraged away from. So my new habit is to fill half of my plates with fruits and vegetables. That feels doable. If I miss that on Friday night because I decide to order in a pizza, that's okay. I just hop right back on that bandwagon on Saturday. No harm, no foul. When you are thinking of this habit and the change that you want to make, write it down and put it in a place that you can see it. So I put all of my goals on this whiteboard and in my planner so I can see them every single day. And I have a daily habit tracker where I mark it off if I've reached that. And if I don't reach it, I mark down why wasn't successful in that goal. An example of that, in the month of January, I tried to not eat any sweets, which is really difficult. And I had a little bit of a really stressful family emergency, and I decided that I needed a self-care donut. So that was one day that I didn't fulfill my goal of not eating sweets, but I wrote down why, in hopes that stressful family emergencies don't happen all that often. Do we have any questions on this yet? Oh, perfect. I could talk about brain science all day, y'all are easy. And when we're thinking of creating a new habit, a new way of thinking, it could be, our new habit could be, instead of automatically yelling at my kids when they do something wrong, my new habit is to take 3 deep breaths before I respond. We are looking for consistency over perfection. Rome wasn't built in a day, neither were you and your habits that you want to change. Same thing with weight gain. You didn't gain it overnight, you're not going to lose it overnight. But what we do know is that consistency day over day over day is better than, oh, well, I ate my self-care donut on the 15th of January, so now I'm going to give up for the rest of the month. I wasn't perfect, so I'm just going to give up. We want you to do a little bit of something every day to reach towards that goal. I was talking to a member last week who also really loves that perfection thinking. And she was having a difficult time carving out 30 minutes a day for activity. And I said, well, let's think about your daughter. Would you want her to have 30 minutes of activity or nothing? Or are you okay with 10 minutes of activity because that's what you could squeeze in? And she goes, Rachel, you're right. I want that 10 minutes of activity because it's something. And we didn't give up. So think about that too when you come up with that habit. And when you decide what habit, what goal, whatever it could be, think of something that you can commit to for a long time. Again, it takes about 2 months, just over 2 months, for something to become, for most things to become automatic for us. And it could take up to 8 months. So think of something that you want done in long term that you're willing to commit to and stick with. Remember your why, and then manage your expectations. Again, we can't fix everything overnight. It takes hard work, and it takes motivation, and it takes discipline. Some days we're going to wake up and say, I don't want to do this today. That's where that discipline comes in. Awesome. I think that's all I have about creating habits, doing it small. Does anybody have anything they would like to share? Any questions? Any funny words? Oh, I apologize. My cats are fighting. Ginger did write saying that she has to have a cheat day every week, so she makes it on Saturday. That's really smart. We tend to have more social engagements on Saturdays. We relax a little bit on our structure. Saturdays aren't always as busy as the week. And it is a realistic expectation knowing that you commit to healthy eating for the rest of the week. Awesome work, Ginger. And Tina says, the overcoming that all or nothing attitude is the hardest part. You're right. We are very much brought up, especially as women, to be perfectionists. And it is having that grace with yourself that you don't need to be perfect all right now. So thank you, Tina. And yes, Vicky, you're right. Habits are hard to change, especially the bad ones. Our brain seeks out the path of least resistance and the path that makes us feel the best. So at the end of a long day, it doesn't feel very good to maybe go work out, but it feels really great to drink a glass of wine. So you're right. It's hard. It is really hard. Anyone else want to share? Yes, Tina, your new thought process is wonderful. I can have that blank, just in moderation. You wanted a bagel this morning and you had half of it. You're not going to binge on bagels later because you fulfilled that want and that need for your bagel this morning. And yep, it took up real estate in your brain while you wanted it, and now it's gone and you can focus on other things throughout the day. Awesome. Anyone else? Well, as always, thank you for joining us. You can connect with us at any point if you want to talk with a health coach. We are available 3 ways. You can email us at personal.trainer@incentahealth.com. You can call us at that 800 number, and then we are available by chat. If you open up your app, hit the call coach button on the bottom and then chat with a coach, and someone Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, will be live to chat with you to celebrate your successes, help you overcome obstacles, and give you the necessary resources that you may need to take a step towards better health. Also, connect with us on social media. There are those 2 links at the bottom. We post on there with hopefully helpful information for you all. So I'll stick around if any of you have any questions or want to talk offline. If not, have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we will see you next week.